Somebody in the comments on one of my videos asked if I was ever going to do a retrospective on one of the most famous products that came out of the TSR era, and that is the Scarlet Brotherhood book. So that's what I'm going to do today on Greyhawk Grognard. So this comes out of the Sean Reynolds era of TSR Greyhawk stuff. It is a book which is 96 pages long, and it's actually 3 different source books all crammed together. It does come with this nifty map, which I shall endeavor to show. And again, it is 3 different maps, which will, kind of implies that there's 3 different books inside. What ties everything together of the 3 sections of the book is obviously the Scarlet Brotherhood. This is the organization of monks, assassins, and thieves that was originally described in the folio as being some shadowy organization that had advisors all over the place. People thought it was a little sinister, but didn't really know much about it. It was implicated in the kidnapping of Prince Thrommel in the Temple of Elemental Evil, and that's about it that we saw early on. They were mentioned in Gary Gygax's Gord the Rogue books as being worshippers of, on the side of those who wanted to free Tharizdun. Let's put it a little easier. And I believe the Scarlet Brotherhood was also in the Tomb of Horrors novel that came out much later, and there they were explicitly Tharizdun worshippers. They are said to be Sul supremacists. So they're refugees from the Sul Imperium, which was destroyed a long, long time ago, and they believe that the Sulois people are superior to all other strains of humans, and they're not too fond of demi-humans either. Their chief headquarters is on the Tilvanot Peninsula, which is the southeast corner of the Finesse. And we didn't know too much more about them then. But once the Greyhawk Wars came along, and from the ashes, they became a major force. They conquered entire kingdoms, most of the Iron League. They conquered the Sea Princes in the southeast across the ocean, the Azure Sea. So they became a much bigger force. Later on, they were even said to be behind Turash Mak in the Pomarge, making his Orcish empire that was around there. So, they were very active, very big bugaboo bad guys. And, this book gives us details on 3 different things, and they're the connecting tissue. The first section of the book covers the Brotherhood itself. It gives a lot of history. It gives what they did in the Greyhawk Wars, and then it gives an organizational detail of the Scarlet Brotherhood itself. So it tells you internal affairs of how there are citizens who have pure Sul blood. There are sub-citizens, which are mixed races. There are humanoids, and then there are slaves. Presumably Iridians and Flanae and so forth are going to be in that category. They have breeding programs. It tells you how monks are assigned to different things, how they retire. I mean, it's pretty comprehensive. It goes into what languages are spoken in the area that they control, the religion, which of course is based all on the Sul deities, the different shrines and temples. Nice illustration here, so I can get it in, of different kinds of people you're going to find there. The half-orc looks a little less half-orky and more, bugberry to me, but that's a question of the art of the period. But I mean, it goes into a lot of different things. aspects of the different things. There are factions within the Brotherhood, which is really cool. It's their governmental structure. I mean, it's pretty comprehensive. Crime and so forth. I mean, it's what you would expect to find in a source book about any kingdom in the Flanaess, really, which is really, really cool. And it gives, of course, an overview of their plans going forward now that they've successfully conquered a lot of the southern Flanaess. Then it gives the actual city in the Tilvanot and cities, I should say, of the Tilvanot Peninsula. Crow Terlip is the big one that we know from the map, and weather and all. I mean, it's very comprehensive. And then we have the section on Hepmonaland, which is the jungle area that is right across the Tilva Strait from the Scarlet Brotherhood itself. This gives us an interesting addition to the world of Greyhawk. There are Ullman folk in the northern part of Hepmonaland, but the vast majority of Hepmonaland is given to the Tuv people, and this is the first time we really hear about the Tuv people. They're kind of a sub-Saharan African analog in the world of Greyhawk, and there is a pretty extensive section on the Tuv people and their kingdoms and so forth. We get the calendar, we get their deities. The map is pretty extensive, including the different things. We also have stuff for more of the Ullman inhabitants on the northern part of the continent. And as you can see, they're kind of Aztec-y, Olmec, kind of Central South American folk. And then as we go down, we have the Tuv, and also a large number of Yuan Ti, I believe. And with their with their different types, and they have sections on the different NPCs and so forth. We have an overview of the geography, and this is the overview of the geography is really cool because it's very minimalist. It's almost like it came out of the folio originally, which I love. It just has like a sentence or two about this this mountain range or this group of hills. It includes encounter tables, which is something I love to see, these kinds of things. Different NPCs, gives adventure hooks. It's a really comprehensive and really nice thing. And like I say, it's an important addition to the world of Greyhawk. As far as I'm aware, this is the first time a region outside the Flanaess was really developed in detail as part of the world of Greyhawk. We had a few things, in the RPGA stuff with Frank Menster's things, which are in Aquaria, which is supposed to be part of Greyhawk, but it never was officially, so it's kind of in that nebulous area. But this really gives a gazetteer level of detail for an entire continent, which we didn't really know anything about until now. So in that respect, this is a very significant book that gives detail on something that, it materially added to the world of Greyhawk, which is what I love about it. So that's something else to bear in mind. This is not an adventure per se. This is more of a source book for these regions. And then we have the Amedio Jungle, which is another jungle region in the south on the other side of the Denzak Gulf. This is the one that's across from the Sea Princes in the southwest corner of the map of the Flanaess. This one, we're going to see a lot more stuff about the Ullman folk, who are that Mesoamerican, South American type culture. And in fact, because it was kind of retrofitted out of the Hidden Shrine of Tamoacan, it actually uses real-world Mesoamerican deities, mostly Aztec and I believe Ullman. which is really neat. Although they do give a kind of an in-universe description for why those deities are present in Earth, which, you know, it's obviously by the time we got to this book, it was a bit late to work up a new pantheon for the Ullman folk, because the deities had already been named in the module. But you know, they did the best they could with what they had to work with, which is, you know, nothing wrong with that. And this goes in much the same way. We have a glossography that gives you the different kingdoms and realms and stuff, and not just in the Amedio Jungle itself, but the points south in the ocean and so forth. For example, the Mist Kingdom is a bunch of mist dragons in a group of islands and so forth. You know, so it's and again, we got the weather, we've got encounter tables, you know, all kinds of very interesting stuff. And in the appendix here, we have a special character class of the assassin of the Scarlet Brotherhood. So, you know, it's and then we have the monk of the Scarlet Brotherhood, and you know, these are adjustments to the regular character classes that kind of bring them into the specialty of the Scarlet Brotherhood itself, which is you know, really cool. Gives a bunch of different deities that were of Sul origin. Some of these were already covered in other places. You know, it just gives a nice consistency across the board for the Sul deities, which is cool. They were originally, of course, done in Dragon Magazine by Len Lakofka, I believe. Somebody did that series, and I think it was Len Lakofka. I might be wrong on that one, but I don't think so. And then finally, we've got magic items and monsters, and, you know, the stuff that you would expect to see. Some nice illustrations on these guys. I would have expected or really wanted to see some more monsters, given the fact that we're seeing entire continents described in the book. I would have liked to see a little more in terms of that, because while the Monster Manual and its sequels have, you know, some stuff that would be appropriate, and they were obviously used in the encounter tables, it would have been nice to get a little more flavor in terms of monsters and magic and stuff. Like, I would have loved to see a new mage. If not a mage subclass, then a whole bunch of Tuve-specific origin spells and stuff like that. We don't get that. And I realize they had limited space in the book. You know, I get it. But a little more flavor would have been nice in that respect. But that does not detract from what we actually got, which is a wonderful source book that really develops the south of the world of Greyhawk. Details a whole new continent, which is great, and gives some much needed detail for a power that ended up being really significant in the timeline of events that takes place after 477, when the published Greyhawk starts. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the Scarlet Brotherhood book. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are your impressions of the book? Have you used it a lot? Have you ever done a campaign set in the southern parts of Hepmonaland? I'd love to hear about it. I've never really heard anybody doing a full-blown campaign down there. I know I haven't myself. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Just a reminder, people on the Patreon get to see videos 2 weeks before everybody else. So if you want to get that sneak peek, please do subscribe to the Patreon. Link is below. And have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.